So we are having a discussion here in terms of the post-consumer waste recycling and integration, and why this discussion, which is actually more important, especially in terms of the textile, right? We talk about the textile framework. It's very important to first focus in terms of the recycling, and that's becoming very, very important day by day. To put in context in terms of this discussion, how many garments we produce annually. I mean, just anybody can kind of just open it up. How many garments we produce annually? If anybody can give a number to that. Because it's very important to understand, no, not from this side, not from this side. I mean, something which is restricted this side, but it's very important to understand, first of all, what are we doing in the first place, right? So we're doing about 100 billion garments annually, and that's huge, right? And what is the population? We are talking about 7.5 billion population, right? And 100 billion garments. It's about 15 garments per person, and concentrated at certain regions. It's not spread across. It's concentrated at certain regions, certain locations. And what happens with that is just you create waste, right? It's about, on an average, basically it could be a year or two, a garment is actually worn. And that turns out to be a waste. And the waste is sometimes is not called waste nowadays, right? Waste is a resource. But what happens with this waste currently, if you see, most of them are getting into the landfill. Most of them are getting into landfill, and some of them may be incinerated, but that's again the last of the hierarchy. I mean, that's not the right thing to do. And to address that is something actually we are trying to discuss now today, because that we are only recycling about 1% of the waste. And currently, I mean, we are trying to find a solution here. We have a fantastic panel here who are going to come out with a lot of discussions, and I think we are going to be a very interesting discussion here. And I think we'll be starting with Mr. Kartikay himself, actually, so who is the Secretary for Textile Committee. And I'd like to kind of start with him in terms of the discussion. Mr. Kartikay, I think he's a very busy person, so sorry for that. Mr. Kartikay, just I would like to kind of understand from you what the Textile Committee is currently kind of doing into this ecospace, right? So into this circularity ecospace in terms of recycling and other interventions which is actually be done by the Textile Committee. If you can just throw some light on top of that.
Thank you. I think I'm audible. Well, I am a spinning guy. So if you don't have mic also, I will be audible. Don't worry. So in Textiles Committee, we have taken a lot of initiatives. So one of the best initiatives that has been taken up, which was mentioned in the speech of Honorable Prime Minister of India also, was we did an MOU with GEM and Scope for coming up with the upcycling registration. And now we are planning to come up with an upcycling mark also. Now, what happens, there are a lot of product that goes for recycling. We know all about recycling. But we came with an idea on upcycling. Whatever the product is there, the product is not broken down into the fiber. Rather, the same product is used to make another product that is upcycling one. And we are giving a registration for that, where our team visits the unit and registration is given. And once you have a registration, you have a direct access to GEM, Government E-Marketplace, where you can sell the product at Government E-Marketplace. Till now, we have 28 registration done, and a dedicated website has also been made for disseminating this information. And now we are also planning to have one big exhibition in Bombay for showcasing this upcycling products on a very discounting price we are going to having. And we will have one fashion show also made out of this products on a upcycling in Bombay. Planning to have it in October. And apart from that, we have done a massive campaigning in New Mumbai Municipal Corporation, where we are collecting post-consumer waste. So one of the difficult tasks is collection of the waste. And from last month, we have started doing the collection. And till now, we have collected around 513 kg of the waste. And those waste that has been collected is been segregated in a place, and after segregation, we have given training to more than 20 women of self-help group. Those will be making those products into upcycling one, and the one which we won't be able to upcycle will go for a recycling. So that's an idea. Till now, products are not out; it's in a stage. But the beauty is, the project has been launched. And with the help of New Bombay Municipal Commissioner and his team, we did a Herculean task of collecting the waste from each household. And this is a key changer, game changer, where our idea is that the all textile waste, whatever comes out, should not go in a landfill. And the issue is the rag pickers. Those rag picker will collect an PET bottle that I can see left in front of me, but he will not collect an textile waste because there is no value for a textile waste when it sells. So we wanted to create that value. And that is a very beautiful example which many municipal corporation commissioner are behind us to have that kind of a project there. And we have told them just wait for a month or two, let us have a success story out of it. And then we will going to take up this activity in other places. Thank you.
Thank you. And I think that's a fantastic initiative, very futuristic, because that's what it's all about, right? It is very important to kind of, first of all, segregate the waste. And that's what even the European Union is also coming out with the waste directive, where they started in Jan, basically 2025, saying that segregate the waste. I mean, recycle the garments in the first place. Otherwise, when you mix it up, it's going to be end up in the landfill for sure, right? So now I take this opportunity to kind of come to Nicolas. So Nicolas is heading kind of Denim Deal, and Denim Deal has a lot of things which is being done in this sphere. And we'd like to kind of hear from Nicolas, how are the challenges, what are the missions, targets which is Denim Deal is doing, how are the operations spanning out in Europe, and what are the things you're going to plan to do in India as well?
So first, the Denim Deal is a non-profit organization, just to frame it. So we are a public-private collaboration. So when I say public, the Dutch government authorities were involved and still involved since the beginning. So that's for the public part. The private part, we have brands, but also all the denim industry. And our mission is very simple. It's how we can stimulate the use of post-consumer recycled cotton in the denim industry with minimum 20% in the blend. Why we are focused on this denim product category? Because first, technically, it's probably the easiest product category that we can integrate mechanical cotton, recycled cotton, post-consumer. So we believe that's important, but it's also an iconic piece of fashion. Everybody's consumed all over the world. So there is a huge potential. So we create this ecosystem with collectors, sorters, recyclers, denim mills, vendors, but also brands. Brands, they have a very important responsibility. It's to foster the demand. We believe that circularity works if there is a business case behind. So brands foster the demands and the supply adapt and reply to the supply and deliver the fabrics, deliver the fibers. So this is our mission. We started in the Netherlands 4 years ago. And to give you a little bit of scale of where we are, we delivered in 3 years 12 million pair of jeans with this minimum 20% post-consumer recycled cotton with 8 brands. So scale, we prove to the industry that there is a demand and technically there is a lot of possibilities. So we learned during these 3-4 years, there is still some technical challenges. I'm not going to tell which ones, but on the collecting side, on the sorting, or fiber identification. But for me, the learning is how the power of collaboration is very important between this public part and private part. Everybody has a responsibility, government authorities to stimulate the market. But I think there is no one group, whatever big you are as a brand or as a producer, has the solution. So I think the collaborative effort, bring resources together, have the same mission, the same purpose, and how we measure post-consumer recycled cotton is very important. Our plan in India is very simple. So we have this European hub. We launched the Denim Deal in France 6 weeks ago. We're going to launch in Germany end of July. We have discussion with North America. We pause it, whatever, for political reason, but there is a lot of opportunities for Denim Deal to expand internationally. But India came to the radar sooner than, in a way, forecast, because we met the right people, and I believe the power of people and connection. So I met these people, and we decided, there is a huge potential in India. First, you're an amazing producer of jeans. I was a buyer for many years, for 20 years, for big brands. So I used to buy here. So I know your expertise in garments, but also fiber and fabrics. So first, that's very important. And there is already know-how and expertise in collecting, sorting, fiber detection, recycling, mechanical recycling. So you have a huge market. And the fact that not only you produce for outside or big brands internationally, you have a huge local demand. You have big brands in India. You are probably the biggest market in all over the world. So for us to be present as a Denim Deal, as an organization in India, makes a lot of sense. So we can learn from what Europe's doing well or doing wrong, so not repeat the same mistakes. But I think you also, you can lead as a country to showcase to Europe that things can be done in a different way. So I think it's not always Europe is in the forefront. I don't believe in that. I believe in people and smart people here that you have in your industry can make a big difference.
Thank you, Nicolas. And it's a fantastic thought process here, because India is becoming a bigger consumer market, right? It's already a big consumption market with the population, but there is a consumption per capita also which is increasing. So which is going to be doing right at this point of time is going to bring those fruitful results. So at this point of time, so I think it's a fantastic thing. So let me come to Parvinder now. Parvinder is already kind of doing this, and he is already into this, right? So he is building his own denim factory, which is a complete circular denim factory, and he is heading Aadi Sustainable Solutions, and he is into GATS. And we'd like to understand for Parvinder about this factory, especially in terms of what motivated you to start this factory, what is this all about, and what do you think how is India placed globally, right, in terms of becoming a denim circularity for integrating this PCW waste. So how do you think why India is positioned well globally to do this?
As far as India is concerned, India is the pioneer globally in textile recycling. India has the largest textile recycling rate among all the countries in the world. India has a recycling rate of around 69%. Whatever waste is being produced in India, whatever waste is imported in India, we have capacity to recycle 69% of the textile waste. Nowhere in the globe it's more than 20%. This is how India is faring. So from the city where I come from, Panipat is world's largest textile recycling cluster. 3,000 tons of recycling is taking place on a daily basis. Then comes what we are doing differently. So textile recycling in India, it's been, I think, in Panipat from 4 to 5 decades. But it was majorly in the home furnishing segment. Panipat, apart from being the largest textile recycling cluster, is also the world's largest home furnishing cluster as well. Then when we knew that recycling is taking place, we need not to worry. Our Indian problem is not as the world's problem. In world, the problem is how to recycle the waste. But in India, it is not our problem. We know how to recycle the waste. Then we start working on the resource efficiency. Okay, what value we can drive from the waste. So as we say that home furnishing is comparatively a low-priced raw materials when it comes to yarn and fabrics. Then comes the next stage is how to integrate this recycling into the fashion garment apparel section. Only difference between the recycling of home furnishing and apparel grade yarn is content. Because in home furnishing, the standard says that you need to put a content, whatever it is. You can make a yarn, you can make a fabric, and then you get it tested, and you can put a content label on it. You need not to worry about the content. But when it comes to fashion industry, when it comes to apparel industry, we have a premeditated content. So then comes the sorting part, how to sort your textile waste. So your textile waste is a raw material. You have to sort it with that accuracy that it can be converted into a content controlled yarn. So what my company was doing, we are into post-industrial textile waste recycling. We are in this space for last 20 years, and for last 4 or 5 years, we reduced our volumes and we went into specialty applications. And then on the other side, for last 10, 11 years, probably 13 years, we were manufacturing denim garments. Both of these were working parallelly. Our textile waste recycling, like everywhere in India. Textile is a different vertical, apparel and garment is a different vertical. It was same for us also. Then, because we have bandwidth, we were probably the only company in India who was working on the textile waste as well and was working on the finished garments as well. So we started connecting these dots between recycled fiber to yarn to fabric, and then to garments. So in last 2 years, we have been able to get, whether it's post-industrial textile waste, whether it's post-consumer textile waste, it can be integrated into the denims. 20%, like Nicolas said, it's a non-issue. It doesn't alter your quality parameters. It doesn't alter your any of the parameters, shrinkage, the seam slippage, tensile strength, any of it, on a 20% recycling rate. And we have achieved cost neutrality. So whatever these garments are displayed here, all are made from at least 20% of recycled input. We have achieved up to 50% of recycled rate. All are cost neutral. And on every garment, you will see there is a barcode. Okay, they are a proven LCA and DPP. Any consumer can scan that barcode with their mobile. No specialty devices needed. If you'll scan that barcode, you will see the whole history of that garment, from where the waste was procured, where the waste was sorted, recycled, in which mill the yarn was made, then in which garment factory garment was made. The whole LCA, life cycle assessment, what is the impact in comparison with a virgin garment and a recycled garment. So on a quality parameters, we have achieved those equal benchmarks. And on cost parameters, that we know that fashion industry is a very cost sensitive industry. So you need to be cost neutral. And on the third part, when we need to showcase the sustainability, the footprint. So we have worked on a bit of a different approach rather than a B2B approach, that GRS TC approach. We have worked on a consumer facing approach, that brand can showcase their commitment to the consumers. This is what we are doing.
Yeah, I mean, fantastic to hear this India story actually. And 20%, yes, it's definitely possible. Like for example, Arvind, we are also using for some of the brands, which is like H&M, which is 20%, which is a mandatory requirement for H&M for all the products which is being done here. So that's a fantastic story and a good story at it. And we understand the challenges which is actually being faced by the industry, because it's currently not organized, right? So we know that so much waste is getting generated, but the waste, where are the waste lying, right? So there is no ecosystem kind of to challenge it and kind of use that waste and to make it a beautiful product. And that's where I want to come to Ramjith here. Ramjith is a venture builder at Enviu. Ramjith, I want to kind of give a scenario, first of all, in terms of what the denim waste scenario looks like in India, right? And we know the challenges which is actually happening, right? Most of the times when we talk about waste, we talk about waste which is coming from outside, right? So India has become one of the biggest dumping ground as well, right? So it will come through Kandla port, and everybody knows about it. And then it kind of, you kind of get into a sorting kind of mechanism and kind of recycling that. But in India itself, there is so much waste which is getting generated, but we don't have a proper channeling of these as well, right? So I would want to kind of understand that challenge as well and how these ecosystem can be built in up. So, and also if you can just throw in terms of what the traceability part, which Parvinder is already touched upon it, but if you can just.
So as we all know, India is a major denim producer and a consumer market, contributing almost 10% of the global denim market. From a waste angle, India generates almost 330 kilotons of denim waste, which is post and pre-consumer, both domestic waste. But that almost contributes to 14% of the global denim waste. Despite that, it's comparatively high value and demand on aggregator level. 30 to 40% we have seen as getting into downcycling, then subsequently in landfill or incinerated. Now, initial discussions with the brands, denim brands in India and internationally, we have seen that a lot of brands are interested, including sustainable materials in their range. Some of the brands even had a plan of bringing that as an NOS product. So under CTL program, which is closing the loop in Enviu Textiles, we have partnered with several waste management companies in India, strategically located across India, where they are supporting us in collection of household waste and doing the disruptor removal. So that also leverages us to collect from nationwide in-store collections for the brands through a 360-degree take-back program. In terms of recycling, we are partnered with Birla Cellulose and GATS, who are supporting us in developing recycled fibers. Through our strategic partnership with Birla Cellulose, we have been successfully able to produce Reviva MXL fiber. A lot of us knows that, which contains 50% of post-consumer waste blended with the lyocell. So we are in continuous new product development with a lot of the companies in India to use a high percentage of post-consumer waste. Challenges lies is the collection, because from the store level collection, the quantities won't be enough as we have to scale the production. So we largely has to depend on household collections through an aggregator level. Brands needs to trace that. So something we have to offer to the brands is the DNM market solutions, which you have to apply on a sorting level. During the process, we have seen multiple challenges. First is the sorting challenge. Most of the textile waste management companies lacks cost-effective sorting solutions. A large percentage of these denims where we receive has got stains and are torn, so it becomes very difficult in processing. Secondly, recyclers, as Parvinder mentioned, we know a lot of mechanical recyclers in the country. So due to lack of chemical technology, a lot of recyclers are hesitant to use polyester or stretch blended denim fabrics. So all they prefer is 95% cotton blended denim, which becomes more difficult to consolidate. As you rightly mentioned, some recyclers prefer to work with imported waste coming through Dhanda port because the European qualities are much better. Another challenge we have seen is the contamination. In terms of contamination, a lot of RSL and microfibers, and which becomes very difficult in processing. So we had to bring in a mitigation and a protocol for processing of the post-consumer waste.
I think a very interesting touch upon in terms of the contamination part of it, because now has things regulations becomes that much more stricter, right? In terms of the RSL requirements and those requirements in terms of the testing requirements, which actually comes in play. So when you don't have a clear traceability in terms of where the resource, the waste is there, right? The waste could already have PFAS in it, or it could be having something which can be lead to microfibers because of the mechanical recycling not done correctly, right? So all these can lead to other issues, right? So here is an area where we kind of work in terms of how to actually build this gap in terms of contamination and everything else. A great point touched upon that. So let me come back to Mr. Kartikay again. Mr. Kartikay, in terms of you talked about what are the things which is being done now in terms of the textile community. So if you could throw more light in terms of what are the policy interventions which are going to come in the future, in terms of what are the things which are being planned, and what are the interventions in terms of the infrastructure which is actually being there, right? So like for example, there is this EPR regulations which is actually being talked about, but as Nicolas was talking about, there is no date to it. So we know there is something coming, but there is no date to it. So similarly, if something like that which is actually coming to India, which would definitely help the Indian manufacturing and the Indian brands to actually be more sustainable. So
yeah, a very valid question on the said topic. Because you all will agree with me that there are more than 60 volunteer standards on sustainability, which different buyers or different company asks the manufacturer to take this, like CTPAT, CDAC, or many more standards are there. And one has to comply with it. Once I visited a company who has a big board stating that so many compliance I am doing, and I asked how much you are earning out of this compliance and how much is your outgo. So he was laughing, saying some compliance I really don't know why I have taken and what I am earning out of it. So now a real talk has been started that why not India to have its own sustainable standard, which have one standard that fits all. So it's it seems to be very difficult, but believe me, we have prepared the first draft And very soon we will have one stakeholder consultation to further improve that one. And another 2-3 round of stakeholder consultation, and we will be having this kind of a standard in India also. And apart from that, sustainability, we talked about the waste. Rather, waste is not an waste, it's a resource for us, where a lot of efforts are going on pre-consumer and post-consumer waste both. And traceability is also on the part. We are working on the solution for traceability also, which is very cheap and very economical also. Apart from that, new kind of fibers are required. See, when you talk about sustainability, we should have some natural fibers, and where lot of efforts has been put. Recently, I was in Nagpur, where a company is producing a leather out of cactus, and it is called as a cactus leather. Now, when you come out with such kind of a product, the main problem that we in the industry feel is the availability of a raw material. So a tie-up has been done with an agriculture research institute, those who are giving growing the cactus and telling the farmer to grow it and showing the profit out of that growth to the farmer, and that too in a barren land. So this kind of initiative has already started. One of the other initiative is a bamboo fiber, making an bamboo fiber without dissolving in chemicals, without dissolving and regenerated. It's an simple from a bamboo stem. The fiber has been already made, and the pilot project is successful, and Calcutta Research Institute is working on it. Then there are other fibers also that can be used, like milkweed is there, banana fiber is there. So there are lot of other fibers which are sustainable in market. The only problem comes is the availability of the raw material. And there have been an intervention where the Ministry of Textile, in discussion with Ministry of Agriculture, are coming up with the new kind of fiber and growing them in a field for getting more productivity and raw material supply. Rather, there has been a collaboration for changing some of the parameter in milk fiber to make it more nearer to the cotton one. So that in a DNA level basis. So that activity is also going on. And there are a lot of other activity that is taking up. So with this initiative, I feel Sustainable India will be a leader in a sustainable in coming years altogether.
Thank you, Mr. Kartikay. And one important thing which he touched upon in terms of standardizing the sustainability framework, right? So that is something I think everybody is like gets exhausted when you actually kind of have different kind of reporting for the same thing, same data, which is actually there, you're reporting different times. So that's something. Certifications are multiple. I mean, it's the same thing. So I think that will be a long way, going a long way in terms of helping the Indian the manufacturers to make their life more easier. He also touched upon in terms of the natural fibers and things like that, which is going to be good in terms of the recycling component, which is actually there, because you don't have these challenges of the blended fabrics, which is actually there. So which is the biggest problem currently when you talk about the blended fabrics, how you're not able to recycle them, right? So that's a challenge which is actually there. So I think that's a good thought in terms of how the Indian Textile Committee is going forward. So here I would like to come to Nicolas now, again with his vast experience in the European system, in European nations. So what are the policy frameworks which you think is basically will kind of push this PCW adaptation to the Indian brands? I mean, that's one thing. I mean, the reason being I'm asking that also is because you have this experience in PVH. So you can also talk about that experience in terms of how circularity was being played at PVH.
Yeah, so if I look from a brand perspective, sometimes you don't have to wait for the rules of the government to take an initiative as a brand. Yeah. So if we wait regulators to help us to engage circularity, that's the wrong philosophy. Yeah. So I think in PVH, we started the circularity journey 8 years ago, far before the EPR was even discussed. So I think sometimes brands has to lead. Yeah. And I believe in this collaboration with public sectors. They can help us. We can have many. EPR is one of them. EPR is implemented only in France since 10 or 12 years by collecting money from the brands and redistribute this money to invest in infrastructure for collecting, sorting, etc. So that's the only one in Europe. Don't forget, Europe is 27 countries. EPR, it's one by one. So Netherlands, because I'm close to the Dutch government, we are with the Denim deal. We are making a project to help them to shape what would be the best eco-modulation system. So they look at France as a lab. Let's not do the same mistake as they do. But it looks like Europe, 27 countries. It's extremely too complex to align everybody. You are one continent with one leadership team. So use that as a leverage. It's an amazing opportunity you have. Europe, it's extremely segregated. And I'm not going to make politics here, but EU Parliament to align 27 countries just on EPR, it will take years, many years. So probably from a government perspective, there is also other ideas how we could reduce VAT on product, circular product, for example, to engage the consumer, to make sure that there is this kind of possibilities. But to be honest, it's very hypothetical. There is nothing concrete. So I believe industry has to lead, brand has to show the way, and we showcase with PVH that we could reach, and we did 100% recycled denim 7 years ago. So I'm talking that I'm not worried about the technology. Technology is always there. We need to create the market. We need to create a marketplace for circularity. And brands sometimes still have this mythbuster of behaviors of transactional. What I need, all the effort will be on the supplier with all this certification, with all this innovation. But at the end of the day, my FOB cannot change because my management, because of many reasons. So this is probably the most terrible thing sometimes. Even me in brands in Europe, sometimes you can be surprised the lack of maturity or vision, how they engage their sustainable journey in their own brands. So I think I believe in the power of collaboration, public, private, and what we try to do in deal is to find the right people behind the right organization, whatever they are private, whatever public. It's people make the difference working together. So let's make this possible with the right association of talent and expertise, and let's be very honest and let's tackle the challenges where they are. Price, quotation, mythbuster about post-consumer recycled cotton is ugly, is expensive, is not quality. We prove that it is all wrong, but still. And you have this young generation arrive in the market, they just repeat what they heard. So I think changing education is also part of the denim deal, how we can help the brands to transition to a linear to circular.
That's really good. But we'd like to kind of take if you want to take about a kind of a policy framework, if you have to kind of really put this scheme, this is what needs to be put in. What is that you think will actually drive at the country level, at the nation level? For example, when you're talking about India, so what are the regulations you think because we have the textile secretary here. So what are the regulations you think which could be kind of adapted by India so that it can be kind of taken forward faster?
I think
we talk about one or two major.
No. I'm thinking. I mean, to put. It's not to put the pressure, but to give a financial incentive to brands to integrate post-commercial recycled cotton in their whatever is denim or shirts, etc. I think that's something to stimulate. For me, government is here to stimulate the demand, stimulate the market. Because if it's only according to the industry, probably there is also other initiatives that you could do for the industry to help them. But I think if there is no demand, there is no supply. So I rather to focus always on the brand side, stimulate them, oblige them. So it can be in a very positive way. So you stimulate them, but there is a benefit for them. So there is probably some financial schema or process to be there. But you need a carrot. If there is no carrot, brands won't come. It's really, but we know the way I don't know the Indian buyers, but at least I know how it was in US and Europe. If you don't have this carrot very clear in front of them, they will go for it. But you have to make the carrot very visible.
Very similar. So there is no difference actually. So I'll come down to Parvinder here on this now in terms of what do you think the brands need, right? So you already, Nicolas already touched upon that. but I would like to kind of understand from you, because you've been working with other brands, and so how do you think basically the brands need, right, to adopt this circular denims into their buying strategy?
I think brands have been pretty much misinformed about the whole this circularity concept, and we have the brands who are listening to us and to whom we have a working relationship. We have proven it with the products, with the impact, and we are pushing it. And what my means the feedback from the lot of brands is that very few brands now, because our whole fashion and retail industry, it has been transformed into a logistic cum marketing cum discount industry. Okay, very few brands have their product, what do we call that, fit fashion fabric. Okay, very few brands have that character in them nowadays, that they can rely on these three pillars: fit, fashion, and fabric. So most of the brands, they are working on their discount models, reducing their MRPs, and faster shipping and all. And so I think that this circularity is a great tool of consumer engagement. It gives you an advantage, because when we speak to the consumers, I run entrepreneurship workshop in various colleges. So if when I speak with the youth, okay, do you want sustainability, do you want circularity? Yes, they want. Okay, they want that they have contributed something to this global shit, but which we have done to our environment and our planet. But the problem is that there is a misconception that you have to do this with premium. 2 years back, when we started this Global Alliance for Textile Sustainability Council, Panipat was not producing garment ready yarns. Now, on a daily basis, we are producing more than 100 tons of apparel grade yarns on a daily basis, and their pricing is on a negative side, on a discounted side, from 30 to 40%, whether it is knits, whether it is denims, whether it is flannels and flat knit sweaters. So almost all applications have been converted by recycling. So now, as what we want to prove with Denim Deal in India, what GATS is doing in India, and taking the success stories, the technical know-how from Denim Deal, we want to showcase. And when we speak in terms of recycling, believe me, denim is the most low-hanging fruit. Very thick count, 10 count is nothing to convert while doing the recycling. So with what we want to achieve in a collaborative way, that we want to showcase to the denim mills that if you'll integrate circularity or recycling into your portfolio, you will have a better sustainability marker, you will have a better impact portfolio. Whatever the challenges are there, or there is a misconception in your knowledge, they all have been sorted. You give us any fabric, you give me any denim from this exhibition, in a month I'll convert it into a recycled version of it without any cost premium. So this is where technically our industry is at. So we need to bring people together, like-minded people together. It's a business case. I'm not speaking about this, that it is your responsibility. So it is our responsibility, but when it is a business case, we need not to worry about these cost barriers. So two stakeholders are important, because sorting, recycling, that we will take care of. Only the brands, whatever their concerns are, whatever their dilemmas are, and similarly for the fabric mills, that we need to come to one place, and we need to create a portfolio, we need to create success stories. We have proven examples on the brand side, on the consumer side, and whatever product you want, we can convert it and we can showcase it.
It's good to know, because the Indian brands also, I mean, we know that there are, because we work with different international brands, H&M, Levi's, Gap, and certain brands which is actually there, and there is a clear requirement in terms of being recycled fibers to be used. So I think that adaptation for the Indian brands also that becomes that much more important. That Indian brands also start adapting those things. I think this is a start, and I think the policy interventions also will make a big difference in terms of using that. And another thing, very important part which is actually touched upon is the awareness in terms of the awareness itself, because it is not just basically the brands doing the right thing, because until the awareness is not coming from the consumer, right, brands is going to put a product which the consumer wants, right? So how do you bring awareness for the consumer is very, very important. I think Mr. Kartikay would your help would also be required in terms of kind of making this a more awareness in terms of the products of textile products which are of recycled. I think is going to be a big requirement there. So if something can be done on that, I think we would want to.
Yeah, I would like to add on this. In the project that we are doing for New Mumbai Municipal Corporation for collection of the waste, we did more than 60 workshops where we have educated the local people or the society people for and motivated them to donate their clothes for upcycling and recycling rather than throwing them into a garbage or a bin. So that kind of activity has already been started with. And once we do that kind of a workshop, small workshop has been done, we tell them the importance of sustainability and how their effort will help in getting our environment better and more sustainable. And we are also looking towards an traceability of it, where we are collaborating with some software companies to come up with a cheap way where once you scan that code, the guy who has donated a cloth, his photo and his name comes, so he feel proud of it. Yes, I did something. So it's a very ambitious kind of a project, if I tell you, because listening here it seems very nice, but when I'm talking of an area in New Mumbai Municipal Corporation, there would be more than maybe 20 lakhs of a population that I am talking about. So once and the people donating, then tagging them, then taking to a backward integration is a very Herculean task. And we want to come up with a cheap solution. There are n number of solutions. The costs are too high, so it should not happen that it affect my product cost. Anyhow, when I am going for a upcycling of a product, the product cost inherently goes up because a lot of activities goes into it. We have hired a fashion designer who will design based on the cloth that is available with us. So they will design how to cut it, how to then sew it, and what product can be made out of it. So it's not only the garment or jacket that a product I'm looking after. I'm looking after a product like a wall hanging. I'm looking after a product like a rug. I'm looking after a product that is decorative, a small gudda and something to showcase also. So this kind of activity really requires a lot of efforts and lot of manpower efforts into it. So the products already gets costlier. And apart from that, if we add that traceability part into it, it becomes more costly.
I think you nicely covered the entire ecosystem here, right from basically the consumer awareness and kind of sorting at that source, right? So, and that's I think a fantastic thing if that's happening and I'm in future, I think we're hoping that everybody starts sorting at that source. And then the entire ecosystem in terms of building it up, right? So in terms of the infrastructure as well. So here I would like to come to Ramjith. Ramjith, basically, of course, a lot of challenges, right, with the waste which is actually there. You have blended fabrics which is coming in, multiple, and the biggest issue is, especially when you talk about denims again. Denims have moved to more of blended, right? So earlier it was just 100% cotton. Now it is moving to elastane and then polyester. Everything comes in play. So, and the challenge which is that I would like to understand the different challenges which you actually face when you're doing a recycling of a fabric of a garment, and then what are the opportunities here, right? What are the new technologies which are coming in play in terms of recycling?
So, in terms of opportunities, first and foremost, if brands truly want to embed sustainability in their circular denim product, it starts with circular design thinking. Brands has to consider their product development right from a product life cycle angle, where the materials can be recycled, and right from the sourcing of the material. Critical step is the material selection. We would require like a cotton or a cellulosic based fiber without a stretch, which becomes much easier to do recycling. Sustainable fabrics has also been a challenge because it's always been premium price. That remains a challenge because most brands want at par with the virgin material price. So until we have reached an optimal level, that remains a challenge. In the opportunity I see, like if more and more brands are engaged in using sustainable practices into their product, there are a lot of recyclers will get into the denim processing space. Most importantly, we have to understand is 90% of the textile waste ecosystem are small, informal, and irregulated players. They work with very limited resources, having minimal influence over a broader market. The biggest bottleneck, as everybody knows, is the lack of demand from the brands. So they work, unless they don't get a market signal, it's very difficult for them to scale and to invest into a improved infrastructure. So it all starts it's an egg and chicken, right? Brands has to start involving a lot of sustainable materials, which are like alternative materials or any cellulosic metal without any synthetic fibers, which becomes easier to process. That way, I think there is a truly potential opportunity which we can unlock in the circular textile in post-consumer denim.
Thank you, Ramjith. So many times we talk about recycled, and it becomes a recycled PET, right? So which is basically not a circular. We'll not call it circular because you're taking a PET bottle and then you're making it into a garment which is going to be now going to landfill. So we otherwise would have been in a circle loop. So when you talk about circularity, we talk about the same product being back, right? That's what Mr. Kartikay was talking about, upcycling, and that's I think we should be actually talking about. And technologies are coming in, and the beautiful technology is coming in. Chemical recycling is something which everybody is trying. A lot of work which is actually happening. I don't want to name, but a lot of work. But yes, but they're costly, right? The technologies are being very, very costly. At Arvind, for example, we are kind of also collaborating with Prophte, right? So Prophte, where we're talking about, it's like a slow mechanical recycling, where the product, the virgin fiber, will remain more or less the same. So that's the technology we are kind of collaborating, which would come in operation in a year's time from now. So we're going to do about 3,000 tons of fibers, which is going to happen. So that those are technologies which are coming in, but of course, there you need to have those interventions, those subsidies, those, because whenever you do R&D, you do any new technology, there's going to be cost which is there. So investment in terms of these R&Ds also actually helps in terms of that. So I think with that, I would like to kind of conclude here. But anybody would want to kind of take a questions and everything else, we can please.
Thanks for a great discussion. If you look at India, our the problem is one problem is what we have in terms of sustainability is the lack of consumer awareness. Consumers are not aware. Nobody is really going out to buy a sustainable garment. And second thing is the brands not taking interest. They are not pushing. So now, if we think about from the back end, as Parvinder is telling that it's cost neutral. The recycled yarn is cost neutral in terms of compared to the virgin. So why can't we try to find a strategy where we try to convert at least 10% of our denim fabric production into recycled? And especially there are two segments we know as one is the organized market, one is the unorganized market. The unorganized market is really not bothered what you put inside the garment, inside the fabric. They don't even know, most of the people. So can we bring out a strategy where we ensure that the mills, at the mill level, can we do something that, okay, we have to put this, your cost is not increasing, for mill is concerned about the cost. If the cost is not increasing, and we can enthuse them in using, even if we convert 10% of 1.5 billion meters is 150 million meters. It's a huge number. If we can do that, it can give a huge start to the whole thing. So, do you think that is possible?
So, from my side, I think it's quite possible, and also here the policy frameworks also becomes a bigger difference in terms of awareness, in terms of creating that framework to kind of use that. I think I would like Mr. Kartikay to kind of take this up.
Very valued question. 10% can be reused or recycled or upcycled. It will be a great effort. And believe me, I have discussed with two or three big brands in India who are having the maximum number of stores, Indian brands, and they are very conscious about sustainability. And most of the brands have now opened their verticals on sustainability, and they have a full team on a sustainability. And they are also working very hard on getting the sustainable products on their racks at an minimal price range, because Indian market is a very price sensitive one. And coming to your questions about awareness, yes, there is lack of awareness in certain areas, but when you come to an urban area, the awareness is very much in the urban people, and efforts has been taken for awareness in the other areas also. And converting to the waste, sir, like Parvinder ji already told that denim is a very low hanging fruit for the conversion, recycling or a upcycling part. Because for upcycling also, designing an product out of a denim is very easier as compared to a very multicolored fabric or fiber that you get. So denim is normally an indigo, some is light, some is dark, and if you plan it, it's a very beautiful design comes out of it. So it's a very low hanging fruit, and I am very confident in coming year or two, more than 10% will be recycled.
I will add something. Look, the denim deal in Europe, what do we do also as a platform? We set targets with the brands because we foster the demand. But now we start also to set targets with the mills. Because if you don't monitor, if you don't look every 6 months, every year, what's going on, there is no stimulation. So just to give you a perspective, denim deal champions brands, I will not say names, but 100% of their collection is with 20% post-consumer recycled cotton. So Indian brands could be inspired by international brands, has been done already at scale. Yeah. So it's not limitation of technology. Of course, costing was a question before, 6-7 years ago, but scale helps to put all the costs down. Secondly, the technology, the last 4 or 5 years in mechanical recycling evolved efficiency, seconds, product, everything is much faster. So we were pioneers 7 years ago. We had the hurdles, we had the higher price, but today the technology is mature. So it's very efficient. So for me, the brand's excuse, it's too expensive. I always fight back. So I think yes, set targets with brands, definitely. So today, if I have a message to the audience, is to connect with Indian brands. So people here during the show, today, tomorrow, I'm here, we are here with my peers. It's really to engage this conversation with them, but also to have conversation with the mills today, because they have also responsibility. Because if we wait one on each other, that's the egg and the chicken, and nothing's moving. So I think this is why we are here, just to connect the dots.
Something I wanted to add in was, as rightly Nicolas mentioned, the struggle with the mills is the quantities. So my experience of working with Vietnam denim mills, where a lot of the international premium denim brands who wants to produce fabric, they are not able to do a just-in-time production or a small boutique production. This is where a lot of Vietnam mills have been successful in developing post-consumer waste in a smaller batch. Though it's not a core product offering for them, but it's a value addition they're giving. So rightly, Nicolas mentioned, it's a target we are setting with a lot of them. So that is the strategy we would see in Indian mills coming into recycled denim.
I'll tell you a surprising thing that adoption of circular and recycled fabric is way more in unorganized market in India than in organized market. In Kolkata and Ludhiana, people are selling knitted fabrics for 120 to 150 rupees per kg. Fresh fabric, which is cotton dominated. Only difference in that and the higher quality fabric is that its content is not that much controlled. You have a tolerance of say 5% here and there. So this is one thing. why the adoption is not at that pace in the larger brands? 2-3 things. First thing is that misinformation and lack of awareness. Why? Because a brand is working with their tier 1 operator. They will tell whatever they want to do to that garment manufacturer. Garment manufacturer is just buying fabrics. So from where he is sourcing fabrics, he will just select from the given portfolio. He doesn't have a say that, okay, I want this fabric. And when we speak to the spinner, okay, spinner is producing yarn. He doesn't have a feedback mechanism that my yarn, if I'll vary these parameters, my yarn will go into these applications. So there is a gap in this thing which which we are trying to cover. Third thing, that we don't have standard for recycled fabrics and garments. So we are still operating on the virgin standard. So sometimes it's a bit difficult. It's not that affecting to the brands, but they are adamant that, okay, we want these standards or these certifications, these testing to be followed. So you have to follow these things. So this thing, lack of awareness, and solution is we need to bring leading brands, leading denim mills. Okay, that whatever we have achieved, we have everything to showcase. We have unorganized market to showcase. We have yarns to showcase. We have garments to showcase. We have the footprint to showcase, and we are also providing them a consumer-facing story. Okay, that this is the impact. So this is pretty much achievable. 10% is a good target to start with, and it can be done with. It's a business case. I'm a businessman, so it's a clear-cut economic sense. It's a business case.
Thank you, sir.
Also, sorry, I'll add to the Ramjith's MOQ part. Okay, that solution is into the fiber, because when a mill is producing his own fiber, then it's a problem. If any mill is because most of the mills are producing their own yarn. So if you want to integrate the recycled fibers, you need to have a dedicated recycler who is specialist on that thing. Then you just need to tweak in your blending. You don't have that MOQ problem. You say in your blending you are putting 100 bales, then you will need to put 20 bales of that recycled fibers. You have that inventory. You need not to touch your back-end ecosystem in your spinning. You just need to mix and match with this recycle. And we have recyclers who can make and who are already making. It's being supplied into denims. It's been supplying into shirting, flannels, sweaters, t-shirts, everywhere. This thing is going, and we need not to touch most of the supply chain. We just have to, whatever the ring frame mills are there, we just have to give them the recycled fiber and they can integrate it. It's as simple as that.
Thank you, sir. Any other question from the audience? Hi, thank you for your insights. I have once been set up what I've understood in terms of Indian market, what standards need to be set for the sustainability, recycle and everything. There is a price point which is of course attached with sustainability and recycle, because the price points are higher, and because of the lower scalability, we cannot reach the optimum price points right now. Is there some kind of support that is coming from the government of India in terms of giving rebate to the mills which are doing such good work in terms of providing sustainable fabrics, doing recycle of fabrics, or I've seen within this place right now they are recycling fabric to dyeing products. So if there is that kind of an innovation happening, do we have any kind of support from the government in that area so that we bring it further more up in the the price points also? Because if there's kind of a rebate, the government is covering some part of it, the price goes down slightly. for the mills, and ultimately it goes down for the consumer, because we all know India is a very price sensitive market. If the price goes higher, the consumer might not end up buying the sustainable products. So that's what I want to understand. That's for my understanding, if there is any kind of support from the government.
I would like to answer this question. Ministry of Textiles has entered into an MOU with UNIDO, where we are going to have in 8 clusters in India, textile cluster, support for this kind of activity. There are 5 components to it. One is a machinery component. If somebody wants to change its machinery to a much sustainable one, there will be some kind of an support given to him. And one is chemicals and dyes. If somebody wants to change to one sustainable one from an non-sustainable one, yes, there will be a support. Then there is support on other social aspects also. So this activity has already been taken up, and it's on a very advanced stage. And they have some governing council, I have been told by UNIDO, and they have approved the project. We are waiting for some funds to open, and once it is there, then you will see a kickstart. Yes, it's already done.
Thank you. Great to know that. Thank you.